Hello everyone, I'm glad you're here with me again. This episode is inspired by a comment from Anna. What can the average person do in their daily life? I know many people who disagree with the restrictions, but still wear a mask. What can we do in general? Thank you, Anna, for the comment. First of all, let's remember that this war on consciousness didn't start in 2020, but a long time ago. But when more and more people start to realize it, that is because it widened its range to include also them. So for them, it's just now it appears from the shadows into new shapes and manifestations. And if you say in your comment that you are one of those lucky ones to live in a place that is less strict, it is important to remember that this is because you might have been personally ready for it for a while. So you're already outside the range of fire, whether on a personal scale by ousting yourself from narcissistic environments, or socially by letting go of social belief systems and abandoning the sinking ship in the right moment. Or simply for walking your own path of self-growth. Being outside the range of fire is the outcome of years of preparation and tuning ourselves out of the frequency of abuse and developing the ability to detect the truth and act upon it, despite the hostility of the environment. Because social surroundings in many places grow jealous and proud and self-entitled, and therefore, whenever they see an authentic person, they will try to shadow ban him or her, or to oust him or her. Because authentic people are a truthful reflection of what the average surrounding really looks like, and what everyone is trying to compulsively ignore. Their desperate codependency, their lack of creativity, and their incompetence while living in an illusion of hype and superiority. If you follow this channel for a while now, we've already spoken mainly about 4 interconnected themes. 1. Social political issues like gradual decay of the Western civilization and about the manipulation techniques used to control the masses by mainstream media. We spoke about this almost 5 years ago. 2. We've also spoken about the self, themes like consciousness, purpose, passion, growth, emotional wealth and intelligence, etc. 3. The connection between the personal and the environment, like relationships, narcissism, psychopathy, sociopathy, etc. And 4, we talked even about technical skills, soft skills in group dynamics and interpersonal communication, and even hard skills that have to do with professional requirements like performance and system thinking and strategy and storytelling, etc. We connected all that with the universal value and with our perspectives as individuals and higher consciousnesses. People who have experienced the war on consciousness in their personal lives, like victims of narcissists and victims of abuse or disadvantaged minorities or war survivors. If they learned something really from their experiences, if their experiences succeeded to awaken them, they will now be facing a different destiny than those who are still unconscious, or those who just woke up right now so surprised, as if they experienced abuse for the first time in their lives. Because not everybody was affected by that war on consciousness in previous years. Many were too privileged even to feel it or to acknowledge it. They hear about Julian Assange and, yeah, that crazy person, yeah, that is so-and-so. Oh, Edward Snowden exposing surveillance programs by the government. Okay, this has nothing to do with me. Guantanamo Bay, people are being tortured to death by the establishment, including innocent people. Okay, they only torture Muslims. That's okay. Oh, civilians in the Middle East are being shot dead by Blackwater just to play around and just to have fun, making jokes about them? Okay, it has nothing to do with me. The president leading the free world says he'll authorize torture techniques even worse and tougher than waterboarding. The masses applaud. Haven't those brought this disaster on themselves? Of course, those are just social and political expressions, but even people's personal lives, there's always those who try to control others and to tell others what to do. Why don't you have a boyfriend? Don't you have kids? Why don't you have kids? When are you going to get married? You should study this, you should study that. Narcissists and enablers in personal lives who try to control your choices and actions. And people chicken out, sacrificing their own emotional compass in their personal lives because they don't want to provoke the narcissist when they make a free choice. So it's not only social, but also personal to the details. The same personal spirit shows itself also in collectives who share similar destinies. When refugees started flooding Europe, instead of people confronting their governments with their roles of creating such crisis and urging their governments to find the one and only solution that must include the empathy toward those refugees who were bombed out of their houses by the support of their own governments, the European governments themselves. Instead of doing that, they started making comics about how refugees rape European women and how refugees are destroying Europe. And later they started banning their traditions and symbols and burning their camps. Are those who deserve salvation? We all saw that abusive tendency coming back so quickly to their lives out of the caves of history when that was allowed. We saw that despite the arrogance. They have learned nothing from history. They only pretended. Suddenly racism became cool and trendy and even charming. And therefore, career politicians thrived upon scapegoating war survivors and refugees. And those politicians were worshipped by many who multiplied and who fell again into this historical trap of nationalism and racism that was set also by the same mainstream media that today they try to denounce. Where is Marine Le Pen now? Where is Salvini of Italy? Where is Mr. Nigel Farage, Mr. Brexit, who played the globalists out of the EU? Where is the AfD of Germany, who were pro-restrictions until it became safer to be anti? There were stars all over the place in the election time, pretending to be the saviors of Europe. Where are they now? They were no different than ISIS, a tool that appeared for a couple of years to examine the facade of humanity, who turned to be hiding behind a veil of morality, but actually not more than a mob of abusive narcissists and their enablers, who were too coward to talk truth, and therefore the cancer must have spreaded until it reached every one of them. We already talked about the need to evacuate ourselves out of the domain of the narcissists years ago. We're in that level. The narcissist must turn on his own enablers. We were ready because we've already seen the war on consciousness in the world of spirit. A long time ago, we talked about it a lot on this channel. But more people realize it now, only because now it shows a fraction of itself to them. And it's too late for them to hide from the current battle. And even more than this, many of those affected are still in such a state that even though they are facing consequences and they have a heavy price to pay, yet they still refuse to connect the dots, insisting to stay in such deep limbo of denial. So they're still blaming demonstrators who resist the scam and who try to clean their own karma through resisting the scam, rather than daring to question the real cause, which is the narcissist and themselves for being enablers. However, those who got rid of the narcissist in their personal lives and got rid of the enablers in their personal lives earlier, and those who got rid of the toxic belief systems and the imposed social expectations, and those who see the truth and acknowledge it and act upon it, are supposed now to be outside the range of fire. And this is already something to be aware of, because if the experience is genuine and one had enough humility to learn from it, all the pain that one had in the past is now to be converted into salvation. And the same thing answers the question, what can I do personally in order not to fall in the same trap that enablers fell into when the challenge accelerates? Or what can an ex-enabler do in order to clean his own history and pass through the gate safely? My message here is not directed to everyone. If someone prefers to live in safe denial than to unfold the full potential of their spiritual forces, they have been given the chance and the opportunity to experience pain in order to awaken. If they still choose not to, they have the full right to do so. So my message here would be directed to those who already are aware. And the purpose here is not only to be knights in the face of earthly tyrannies, but also to triumph and to use this galactic gate, walking the fine line to the other side safely and victorious. Because that way we would be a lighthouse inspiring those who choose to follow. First thing is realization and acknowledgement, to realize the war on consciousness and to acknowledge one's strengths and weaknesses. 2, unconditional love. We need to allow those to choose their path, their way, and to act upon it and live in the reality they choose. Any emotional attachment with the infected would hold us back from moving to the other side. So we need to let go of everything that belongs to a different reality than the one that we choose. I know it might sound harsh a little bit, but in this stage of war today, there's no space for but. I want to move on, but from now on it's all about the right decision and precision and truth and all in on that. We can't afford discussions like, there is no right and wrong. What is truth? There's no such thing as truth. All those arguments are distraction formed by narcissists and trended by enablers. They belong to the old corrupt system and its beliefs and its nihilistic mindsets. We know exactly what right and wrong are and what truth is. Perhaps not everyone is courageous enough and skilled enough to act upon it, but we know what it is. 3, we must become the best version of ourselves as individuals, because films and mainstream programming has done everything possible to confuse our conception of who we really are, our sexuality, the universal codes, identifications, etc. So we ended up seeing people dreaming very clearly of having a villa with a pool and a private jet. They can visualize it very, very good. But when you ask them what their passion is, they have no idea. And becoming the best version of myself requires letting go of that programming and getting to know and to learn who I am, getting to know the true self, what I like, what I don't like. Not because someone said so, but because one feels that. The people we are passionate about, the skills we are passionate about, because those are going to be one's army and weapons. When I know my passion, I follow it and I act upon it and become the best version of myself. We already spoke about passion in the past. 4, using that passion in the battle. In any army, there are different units and functions. There are soldiers in the field, some sit in the situation room, some in the sky, some just make office work. Everyone has his own function and skill. So there's no sense that those who are sitting in the control room or in the situation room get excited and choose to join their peers in the battlefield out of patriotism. That would be suicide. Same thing for those in the battlefield. They understand the significance of those who sit in the situation room, who see the bigger picture and guide them remotely. So soldiers on the ground can't be jealous of those who sit in the situation room because they have air conditioning and because they are not exposed to direct fire. Everyone has their skills and the conditions that come with it. Now this is how we can take this metaphor to our situation today. After one sees and acknowledges the truth, let's go of trying to convert others or to be accepted by others, knows one's passion and uses it to improve one's skills. We use those skills to grow ourselves and become the best version of myself in the face of challenges. Challenges are a condition for growth and improvement. Not everyone has to go to demonstrations, and not everyone has to trigger a personal conflict because of the restrictions. There are so many ways to be effective and to take an effective part in this while minimizing damages and maximizing the outcome. If one's passion and skill is a street performer, then perform and deliver the message through performance. If you are a lawyer, practice that and file a lawsuit and sue your government for a fraud and crimes against humanity. If you are a comics artist, you can flood the social media with your work. If you are a medical doctor, you can connect with the right people and make awareness campaigns about this historical scandal. If you are a filmmaker, make films. If you are a musician, write music. If you are a songwriter, write songs. If you are an online marketing ninja, you have enough trolls on Twitter to take down. Are you an event organizer? You have so many demonstrations and creative events to organize. Are you a journalist? There are so many articles waiting to be written. Even if you like to sit just like this on social media, there are so many things to share and to like and to support those in the front. And even sometimes maybe to face those trending hashtags generated by the executives of Twitter or by trolling campaigns or under YouTube videos, or even interact with friends. You can confront everyone politely and intelligently, exposing the truth when this is your part. If you know someone personally who's pro-restrictions, he might have taken money from the government, aid money from the government. So his conscience has already been bribed. Therefore, he might sound so convinced when he talks about how important restrictions are. Expose that truth about his bribed conscience, politely and intelligently. Of course, I don't say that everyone should do that, but only those who are compatible with this function. Just like not all warriors should be physically in the field. And if you have no idea what to do and how you can use your skills now, then follow those who already do, online and offline. Some can go to demonstrations, some can donate to those who initiate self-organized movements. So hopefully, we finally get out of this defense mode and we shift the focus from justifying why we need to breathe normally and to justify why I need to walk freely. We shift from that defense mode, from that reality, to a new reality where we live our full potential offensively in the face of the narcissistic criminals who shaped this new reality in the first place, and their enablers. After all, with all the complexity of the situation, this is not only a crisis, it is also a historical opportunity for those who act upon their passion and excitement to use it also as a leverage when the intention and knowledge and action are in line. I hope I could shed some light on this. Thank you, Anna, for the comment. Thank you, everyone, for staying with me. I'm Shredy Jabarin. Ciao.